Clogged drains may have contributed to the landslide at Bocage, which displaced a family. Over the weekend, a number of homes gave way due to heavy rains triggered by tropical waves in the last week. The heavy showers saturated the soil, leading to landslides around the island. The Infrastructure Ministry is concerned that vegetation in the gutters may have worsened the situation. The ministry is currently working on stabilizing the slope in Bocage.
We must not forget that at this time of year, because of the increased precipitation, because of land clearing, because of removal of vegetation on the slopes, the tendency for drains to get silted is higher. The risk of silted drains is higher. And once you have silted drains, once there's vegetation in the drains and so on, the likelihood of the water flowing from the drains onto the road and onto properties below road is higher, which is the situation, for example, we had at Bocage. You had a clogged culvert, you had clogged drains, the water had to find somewhere to go. It ended up on the road surface, and unfortunately, sadly, it ended up in that location at Bocage, and we had the sliding taking place. This is a very unfortunate event, and we are working hard towards coming up with the designs to build a retaining structure to bring some level of stability to the road.
While families were displaced by earth movement, a landslide held up traffic at Colembette Soufre on Monday. The landslide destroyed trees and poles in its paths, forcing buses to divert through Vieux-Fort. Chief Engineer Albert Jabati says the roads have been cleared, but calls on motorists to exercise due caution on the road.
In the case of Colembette, that's a different situation. We know the situation with the West Coast Road. The likelihood of slides on the West Coast Road is always high during the hurricane season. So the situation at Colembette is something that could have happened anyway. But nonetheless, the staff have moved in expeditiously, and the road is now cleared. However, we still have to clean the road surface. So people driving through that area are encouraged to be careful, to drive with caution, because the road may be slippery if there is any rainfall.
Jabatis is encouraging the public to take charge of their surroundings and clean gutters to reduce the likelihood of water overflow and landslides.
Do not depend on the government to provide the necessary assistance in clearing a drain next to your home. Come together as a community, make sure that you minimize the amount of obstruction you get in the drains, so we do not get drains overflowing onto the road and possibly from the road onto properties and creating or leading to damage to property.
The chief engineer reminds the public that the hurricane season is still ongoing and that heavy rainfall will lead to increased risk of flooding and landslides. He appeals to the public to remain vigilant and play their part to decrease the chances of the loss of life and property. Gina Filippi, HTS News Force.